Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Welcome to Pathways to Faith. Today, we are about to embark on a journey through one of the most fascinating chapters in world history, the Golden Age of Islam. A time when the Muslim world was the cradle of knowledge. A time when science and faith were not enemies but companions. A time when men and women, guided by revelation, curiosity, and a deep sense of purpose, reshaped the destiny of human civilization. Between the 8th and the 14th centuries, the Islamic world produced some of the most remarkable scientific, medical, and philosophical breakthroughs. These discoveries did not just enrich the Muslim Ummah, they laid the very foundations for the European Renaissance and the scientific revolution that followed. But how did this happen? Why did science flourish so brightly under Islam? And what lessons can we, in the 21st century, learn from this glorious period? Stay with me for the next 30 minutes as we uncover the untold story of how Muslims shaped science and how faith inspired discovery. Chapter 1. Islam and the Call to Knowledge. When the Qur'an was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the 7th century, its very first word was not pray, nor fight, nor give. It was Iqra, read. This was a call not just to literacy, but to reflection, to observation, to understanding the signs of Allah in the universe. Allah tells us in Surah Al-Imran, verse 190, "Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of the night and day, there are signs for those of understanding." From the beginning, Islam placed knowledge at the very heart of faith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim." And so, as Islam spread from Arabia to Persia, North Africa, Spain, and beyond, Muslims inherited vast libraries of Greek, Persian, Indian, and Chinese wisdom. But they did not merely preserve it, they expanded it, corrected it, and built upon it. This was the seed that blossomed into the Golden Age of Islam. Chapter 2. The House of Wisdom. Our story takes us to the city of Baghdad, capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. Founded in the year 762, Baghdad quickly became the beating heart of knowledge in the Muslim world. Here stood one of history's greatest institutions, Bayt al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom. More than a library, it was a university, a translation bureau, a research center, and a gathering place for the world's brightest minds. Greek philosophy, Indian mathematics, Persian medicine, and Chinese astronomy all passed through its doors. Scholars of every background, Arabs, Persians, Turks, Jews, and Christians, worked together in a shared pursuit, understanding the universe, and through it, better understanding the Creator. It was here that texts by Aristotle, Hippocrates, and Ptolemy were translated into Arabic. But Muslims did not stop at translation. They wrote commentaries, critiqued theories, and made groundbreaking discoveries that surpassed the ancients. The House of Wisdom became the spark that lit centuries of scientific brilliance. Chapter 3. Mathematics and the Language of Logic. Let us begin with mathematics, the language of science. One man's name still echoes in every computer, every algorithm, every equation today. Al-Khwarizmi. Living in the 9th century, Al-Khwarizmi's work gave us algebra. His book, Al-Kitab al-Mukhtasar fi Hisab al-Jabr wal-Muqabalah, systematized linear and quadratic equations, laying the foundation for modern algebra. From his name, Al-Khwarizmi, we get the word algorithm. Without algorithms, there would be no computers, no smartphones, no internet. Muslim mathematicians also introduced Hindu Arabic numerals, the numbers 0 through 9 replacing the cumbersome Roman numerals used in Europe. Imagine trying to do complex calculations with Roman numerals. 0 itself a revolutionary concept spread through the Islamic world before reaching Europe. Another genius, Omar Khayyam, extended algebra to cubic equations and worked on the reform of the calendar, making astronomical predictions with incredible accuracy. Mathematics became a language of precision, a gift from the Muslim world to humanity. Chapter 4. Medicine and Healing. If you fell sick in the medieval world, your best hope was to be treated in a Muslim hospital. One of the greatest physicians of all time was Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna. His masterpiece, Al-Qanun fi al-Tibb, the Canon of Medicine, became the medical textbook in Europe for over 600 years. Ibn Sina described diseases, their symptoms, treatments, and even experimental methods to test drugs. He emphasized cleanliness, diet, and prevention, concepts that sound modern yet were practiced over 1,000 years ago. Another great physician, Al-Razi, known as Rhazes, distinguished smallpox from measles, a remarkable diagnostic achievement. He also wrote extensively on ethics, warning doctors never to harm their patients. Hospitals in the Islamic world, called Bimaristans, were advanced institutions, with wards, pharmacies, teaching facilities, and records. They treated all patients regardless of wealth or religion. At a time when Europe still relied on superstition and bloodletting, Muslim physicians were practicing evidence-based medicine. Chapter 5. Optics, Astronomy, and the Universe. Perhaps the most extraordinary Muslim scientist was Ibn al-Haytham, or al-Hazan. Living in the 10th century, he revolutionized our understanding of vision and light. In his book of optics, he argued that light enters the eye from external sources, rejecting the old Greek belief that the eye itself emits rays. But more importantly, Ibn al-Haytham emphasized experimentation. He built a dark room, a camera obscura, to study how light travels. He tested hypotheses, observed, measured, and refined his theories. Many historians call him the father of modern optics, and even a pioneer of the scientific method itself. In astronomy, Muslim scholars like al-Biruni and al-Tusi produced precise astronomical tables, corrected Ptolemy's models, and even came close to proposing the idea of Earth's rotation centuries before Copernicus. They built observatories, mapped the stars, and created instruments like the astrolabe, essential for navigation, timekeeping, and prayer direction. For Muslims, studying the heavens was not just science, it was worship. Every star, every orbit was a sign of Allah's majesty. Chapter 6. Chemistry, Engineering, and Daily Life. The word alchemy comes from the Arabic al-kimiyya. Muslim chemists like Jabir ibn Hayyan developed laboratory techniques still used today: distillation, crystallization, and filtration. In engineering, inventors like Al-Jazari created intricate water clocks, mechanical devices, and even programmable machines, ancestors of modern robotics. His Book of Ingenious Devices remains a marvel of creativity. From soap and perfumes to surgical instruments and coffee, many of the everyday items we use today have roots in the Muslim Golden Age. Chapter 7. Legacy and Decline. So what happened? By the 13th century, political instability, invasions such as the Mongol sack of Baghdad, and economic decline weakened the great centers of learning. But the knowledge was not lost. Translations of Arabic works into Latin flowed into Europe, inspiring thinkers like Roger Bacon, Galileo, and Copernicus. The Renaissance and scientific revolution owe much to the Muslim Golden Age. The Qur'an had inspired Muslims to seek knowledge, and that knowledge illuminated the entire world. Conclusion. Dear viewers, the Golden Age of Islam reminds us of a timeless truth. Faith and science are not enemies. In Islam, the pursuit of knowledge is an act of worship. The Quran tells us to reflect on creation, to explore, to discover. the Muslims of the Golden Age lived this reality. Their discoveries in algebra, medicine, astronomy, and engineering were not separate from faith. They were guided by it. And today, the challenge is before us once again. Will we reconnect with that heritage of learning, curiosity, and devotion? The Golden Age of Islam is not just history. It is a pathway to our future. Thank you for watching Pathways to Faith. If you found this journey inspiring, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us continue exploring the treasures of our faith together.